I think women are creative warriors. And that is my theme, and therefore... Empowerment. Oh my God, this is huge. It's a huge topic. How are we going to get it all done in 20 minutes? I'm just going to share with you some of my experiences with empowerment. And can you hear me back there? We're all good? You know, finally, I think that it's very easy to empower someone else, and it's a lot harder to empower yourself. I think that empowering others is actually quite a simple idea. It's not easy to do, but it's a simple idea. And I'm going to tell you a few things that happened to me around empowerment. But to set that up, I want to tell you that my first attempt to retire, I had a retirement party, and it was a big deal at the MAC with performances and flowers and speechifying and tears and food and the whole event. But it didn't work, and I didn't retire. In fact, it took 10 more years before I actually stepped out farther into retirement. Note to self, don't have a retirement party on your first attempt at retirement. So at this retirement party, my son Cyril got up to speak. And he said, oh my little Cyril here, he said, my mother didn't teach me anything. She didn't teach me anything. Well, alarm bells are going off incredibly. I'm thinking, I did. And then he said, my mother didn't teach me anything. She just showed me by doing it all herself. And therefore, I learned it all. And I thought, at first I thought, my son Cyril, he's kind of a one-liner king. He's kind of the wise Buddha-wise kind of guy. But he did set me thinking a lot about this. Is it that we empower people by letting them find things out on their own, or perhaps making them think they found out on their own? And I think that's actually the simple concept. And it's not easy, but it's a really simple concept. So, in my dance school, when people came to register, I did not say to them, you are going to get physically stronger. You are going to feel better. You are going to have a bigger social web. You are going to get rid of the anger and the frustration that is stuck in your body when you move to music. You are going to socialize more. You are going to get out of your house. I didn't say that. And I think that the reason I didn't, because this is all unconscious. If you're a triple Pisces like me, you work on intuition and you're not really aware of what you're doing. But I think I did not say that because, in fact, if I had set up all those expectations by saying, this is what's going to happen to you, I think I'm actually positive that I would have negatively affected their outcome in their dance experience. And so far better not to say anything. And they all came to every one of those realizations on their own. All those empowered states happened by themselves and no one had to tell them. And some of it was immediate and some took years. But everybody changed. Everybody felt empowered in their own way. And I found that very simple. All I had to do was provide the space for the dance classes and have the skill to teach really fabulous dance classes. And then the rest just happened. That was kind of wonderful for me. When I go back in time, because I have two sons, I think about a time when my first son, Paolo, was just over a year old, and I'm in a park with him in Montreal. And Paolo decides to start in his little toddler way to climb up the ladder to the slide. Way up. And the gasp in the park of the mothers was just... So, I know my boy though, and I knew him then. And I looked at this, and there were 5-year-olds ahead of him on the slide ladder and 5-year-olds behind him. And so I chose not to run and get him. I chose instead to go to the bottom of the slide and catch him when he came down. And the look on that toddler's face, my son, as he flew down that slide, wide open, eyes big, mouth open, it is indelibly imprinted in my brain. He was flying. But he also experienced the hesitation and the fear at the top of the ladder. But I didn't say anything again, and I just caught him at the bottom. And the tongues were a wagon in that park. That is so dangerous. You let him do that? He could have fallen. You know, all of the, you can hear it. But you know, Paolo experienced that the world is fun. He experienced that there's people around him. He got to trust his own little toddler body. And you know that that child has gone on to be the most incredible physical phenomenon. For his whole life, this guy does amazing things with his body because he's so comfortable in that body. And I think I'm really pleased that I just sat back and just caught him at the bottom. In my school, I don't have a dress code. And this is very, very intentional. Well, I'm still saying my school. I'm still just so new at having given it away. It's still, it's kind of not my school anymore. But in my school, there was no dress code, and it was very, very intentional. And the reason is because I remember my time at Les Grands Ballets Canadiens when I was studying classical ballet and taking 3 ballet classes a day. And there was a profound dress code. You had to wear pink tights and a black leotard. Well, you have to know that I had come from the east end of Vancouver in a wonderful, very working class family. And there was no money for extra things. You had to do things that were free. And sports were free. And so I played every sport. I just come through years of running track and basketball in my high school years. And I had running thighs. Great, big running thighs. And putting my thighs into pink tights was not a good look to me. I did not like it. So I wore black tights to class, which was forbidden, but I wore it anyway. And sometimes the director of Les Grands Ballets would come and watch how the students were doing. And when that would happen, when he would come to visit our class, my teacher would ask me to go in the back line. Well, he saw me anyway. I made sure of that. And he would say, look, she's just the passion, the extension, her commitment to the choreography. And he would ask me to demonstrate. Huge honor. But she wanted me hidden. And that really stayed with me. So, in my school, if ever anyone came to class wearing anything other than black tights and black Leo, I really always celebrated them. Anyone who came with any kind of a flair, and we had every kind of flair. But one lady really stuck out with me. She had the most outrageous collection of tights. And this is the 80s. This was when there was only black tights. That's all you wore. She wore the most extraordinary array of tights that did not have any kind of color coordination thing to them. But I loved her expression, and at the year end, I gave her the Best Tights Award. Encouragement. I also gave an award called the Sunshine Face Award. Nothing to do with her dance ability, her dance technique, whether she had improved. No, it was about the smiling face that she brought to dance class every time she came. It was about how she would laugh and smile whenever she blew it in the combination. She would smile beautifully, beautitiously, help. Whenever anyone would have a good moment in class. And she was empowering people without even knowing it or trying. And I loved the Sunshine Face Award. It just was that encouragement again. And I think encouragement and empowerment sit right beside each other. I think encouragement's the big sister to empowerment. I also had a problem child, lots of them, a bad girl in class. Her attendance was shoddy. Her discipline was zero. She was unfocused. She was always stoned. She was late. She was just disruptive. And but she had an extraordinary spark. When she danced, there was the spark, and it was obvious to me. But she was very disruptive in class. So I decided to give her a key role in the piece we were creating for the year-end concert. She was going to have to stand in a big bucket of water with a nightie on and be made all soaking wet by all the other dancers throwing water on her. And her hair was going to become completely soaking wet. And at the end of the piece, she would wail her head in this bucket of water, flailing and wailing as the lights came down to black. It was a big role. And I decided not to do the bargaining offer in this moment with her. It was not, if I give you this role, you cannot miss any more dance classes. Or if I give you this role, you have to now, da, 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 da. No, I just wanted her to feel chosen. And so I didn't say anything. And sure enough, of course, she rose to it. She rose to it incredibly. She did a spectacular job, and she didn't miss one more class. And she went on to pursue a degree in dance at Simon Fraser University. It's so simple. It's so simple. It's not easy, but it's so simple. I also had, I'm giving you examples. I also had a woman one day come to my office to register for class, and she was crying. You've got all these wonderful dance classes, and I can't take any of them because I don't have any money, and that's not fair. All right, well, now I'm pissed. I mean, whining, you've got me pissed off right now. So I said to her, well, what can you trade me for your dance classes? I can't do anything. Well, can you bake? Yes. Can you make cookies? Yes, I make really good cookies. All right. You're going to bring me a tin of cookies once a week because I need cookies, and good ones, to put in my kids' lunches, and I just don't have time to bake. I'm a single mom, I'm just doing it all. So you're going to bring me a tin of cookies every week, and you're going to have 2 classes a week in trade. Okay. Okay. And every week, her tin of cookies was more and more beautiful as she danced more and more into the year. It was a fabulous trade for me. I had cookies to put into my kids' lunches, and she got dance classes. It's so simple. It's not easy, but it's so simple. And what is my best example of empowerment? I think in the 48 years that I've been teaching dance, and I'm down to 1 class a week now, I think it has to be big dance. I think definitely it's big dance. And while I'm talking about big dance, Dory's just going to run a few pictures, and I'll have to move Dory if my head's right in the middle of them. Just a few pictures of big dance. You know, if you don't know big dance, it was my company and dance classes just for large women. And the phenomenon that big dance became is a whole nother talk completely. But just to say that these women came up the stairs, crawling up the stairs to my studio. Take my hat off? Okay. They crawled up the studio, downtrodden, ashamed. They had no confidence. They had lousy self-esteem. They were so fearful, and they had no glamour in their lives. Now, I could not coddle them, and I couldn't speak to their fears or their stories. That was all going to come out just because we were going to dance together. I knew that. So I decided to just simply teach them a class as if they were any other dance student. And everything came out. And some of it was really slower, and some of it was profound and immediate. But these women went from being ashamed and insecure to dancing naked, covered in clay, in San Francisco. Check this out. Yeah. This picture is absolutely amazing to me, and I'm going to just pass it around when I'm finished talking, and you can look at it. You can't keep it, but I have 2 copies, and you can take a peek at these women. They did wear a G-string, but they were naked and covered in clay, and it was a piece that was kind of like about statues in San Francisco. I agree with you. It was a wow moment. It was a wow moment. Dory, can I have that tutu picture? Oh, there's Neely and Terrell. Okay, so this is one of the many articles that was written about big dance. But do these women look downtrodden and insecure? You know, I'm going to answer that question. No, no. They are creative warriors. They are being creative warriors. I did a piece for them that we called Pink. And in it, that's killing my, oh no, I can't do that. And in it there was a section from the Dance of the Hippopotamus from Fantasia. Oh yeah, look at your eyes. No, 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 stop your brain right now. You're saying, the hippopotamus from Fantasia. Wait, wait, wait. Can I just please erase that thought? I'm erasing your brains now. And rethink that character. Rethink that character. That hippo was a very powerful character. She was a really good dancer. She had fabulous dance technique. She had wonderful people, well, they were ostriches, who wanted to wait at her and do everything and bring things for her, serve her. She had high status. She was empowered. And I think that when these women did the tutu piece, I think it was the pinnacle of their transition to empowerment. After class or after rehearsal, they would walk down the sidewalk from the studio in their tights, with their giant bums waving from side to side, and they are laughing with each other and taking up the entire sidewalk. And it was really simple. But it wasn't easy. And did I lose some? Yes. There were some women who came to big dance and could not reconcile the image that was reflected to them in the mirror. Second note to self, you can't save everyone. You can't control anyone's changes. Let it go. Let it go, let it go. I can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn around and close the door. You know, has it been easy all the time for me? No, 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 no. Hell no. I have big hips. I woke up when I was 14 and I had 40-inch hips. And I have bow legs. And I have flat feet. Are you kidding me? You're going to dance, you have flat feet? I have a short torso. I pull focus and I don't take direction well. The dance world was really hard for me to fit into. It was hard for me to fit into. So the choice was to become a soloist. When I am a soloist, no one is saying, wow, she's big, isn't she, for a dancer? And no one is saying, wow, she looks awfully big compared to those little dancers. And no one is saying, I just wish that you would dance smaller. I found my strength in solo dance. And I think dance also picked me because I'm a twin, and my twin sister was the mouth and the brain, and so I had to be the body, and that's the way the pact of twins goes. But twins is a whole nother talk, another day. Another one completely. But I found power in a mute art form because I had grown up not being the one who spoke. So, but you know, is everything wonderful? And am I just empowered at all times? Hell no! This is me trying to read a map. And you know, my financial advisor, Sandra Stott, she happens to be sitting right there. For 30 years would sit me down in her office and explain all my portfolios, and explain why this one is there and this one is going to there, and how she's going to move that one there, and what this one is doing, and how that one's going up, and am I okay with that? And I would just look at her and I would take it all in, and when she was done, I looked just like my dog. Right now, I have just given away my baby, which was my school of dance, and I am working on projects that I do on my own now and again. But I can truly say that this is the hardest time I've had in my life to empower myself. It is such a transition. And all I can tell you is that the fat lady has not sung yet, and in fact, I don't think she knows the tune of what she wants. But I have so loved to come to love women and their wise, wonderful things that they say all around us. And I read quotes that just inspire me. And so I want you to listen to a few of my favorites, even if you've heard them before. Even if you've heard them before. Erica Jong. You take your own life into your hands, and what happens? A terrible thing. No one to blame. Judy Garland. Always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else. Alice Walker. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Audre Lorde. When we speak, we are afraid that our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we're still afraid. So it's better to speak. Mary Pickford. This thing we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. Mother Teresa. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean. But that ocean would be less because of that missing drop. And Laurel Thatcher Ulrich, we all know. Well-behaved women seldom make history. Virginia Woolf. For most of history, Anonymous was a woman. Gloria Steinem. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. Eleanor Roosevelt. Remember, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And Maya Angelou. Courage allows the successful woman to fail and learn powerful lessons from the failure, so that in the end, she didn't fail at all. And one more quote from Lynda Raino. Oh, is she still alive? You don't have to have a dancer's body, only a body that dances. And I want to leave you with my little thought, and that is that I feel that women all over the world, in every single walk of life, drop pearls of wisdom for all of us. And they don't even know they're doing it. And our only job is to remain with our palms up. And maybe our mouths open too. And catch the pearls. So you are all creative warriors, and thank you for listening to me. And now that I have finished, I'm going to take off my warrior hat because it's time for tea. So I'm going to put on, I'm going to put on my hat for tea.